A school without football is in danger of deteriorating into a medieval study hall. A tale is but half told when only one person tells it. Adam Smith actually took all his best ideas and lines from sources from medieval Persia. But one thing he doesn't take is the underlying assumption they have that the basis of a market is mutual aid. Against the disease of writing one must take special precautions, since it is a dangerous and contagious disease. Do there exist many worlds, or is there but a single world? This is one of the most noble and exalted questions in the study of nature. Don't depend too much on anyone in this world, because even your own shadow leaves you when you are in darkness. Every man should arm himself as quickly as he could, and come to the king. For even he who is most greedy for knowledge can achieve no greater perfection than to be thoroughly aware of his own ignorance in his particular field. The more be known, the more aware he will be of his ignorance. Had I been present at the creation, I would have given some useful hints for the better ordering of the universe. I am not in any way opposed to medieval studies, or for that matter Latin. I decorated my house like a medieval Gothic castle, European style. Chandeliers and red velvet curtains. My bedroom is pink and black, my bathroom is totally Hello Kitty, I have a massive pink couch and a big antique gold cross. I was trained as a political scientist and the profession bores me, to be frank. I am truly bored by mainstream work in my discipline, which strikes me as a kind of medieval scholasticism of a special kind. I would rather have a Scot come from Scotland to govern the people of this kingdom well and justly than that you should govern them ill in the sight of all the world. If ever there was a slamming of the door in the face of constructive investigation, it is the word miracle. To a medieval peasant, a radio would have seemed like a miracle. If it were customary to send maidens to school and teach them the same subjects as are taught to boys, they would learn just as fully and would understand the subtleties of all arts and sciences. In the Middle Ages, cathedrals and convents burn like tinder. Imagining a medieval story without a fire is like imagining a World War II movie in the Pacific without a fighter plane shot down in flames. Justice is the constant and perpetual wish to render everyone his due. Letters are signs of things, symbols of words, whose power is so great that without a voice they speak to us, the words of the absent, for they introduce words by the eye, not by the ear. Medieval and ancient sensibility now dominates our time as acoustic and multisensory awareness displaces the merely visual. No more things should be presumed to exist than are absolutely necessary. Nothing is sweeter than love, nothing higher, nothing stronger, nothing larger, nothing more joyful, nothing fuller, and nothing better in heaven or on earth. Opinion is the companion of probability within the medieval epistemology. Point shoes are torture devices. I mean, ballerinas get used to it, but it was definitely a new experience for me. They feel medieval. I was very happy to stop wearing them. Satire must always accompany any free society. It is an absolute necessity. Even in the most repressive medieval kingdoms, they understood the need for the court jester, the one soul allowed to tell the truth through laughter. The American legal industry is a medieval guild in which the prosecutors bar and bench joins hands to ensure that legal invoices are paid, no matter how excessive. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. The medieval ideas of the wildwood was like a cupboard into which they stuffed everything they were afraid of, wadwoes, green men, demons, strange creatures, and of course the most fearful thing of all, wild women and their sexuality. The medieval university looked backwards. It professed to be a storehouse of old knowledge. The modern university looks forward, and is a factory of new knowledge. The notion that human life is sacred just because it is human life is medieval. The nourishment of body is food, while the nourishment of the soul is feeding others. The rosary was said every evening. I always liked that sentence about the medieval churches, that they were the Bibles of the poor. The church was my first book, and I would think it is still my most important book. The study of philosophy is not that we may know what men have thought, but what the truth of things is. The ultimate binding element in the medieval order was subordination to the divine will and its earthly representatives, notably the Pope. The world is divided into men who have wit and no religion and men who have religion and no wit. There are some examples of medieval kings who were terrible human beings but were nevertheless good kings. There is a remarkable thing about swans. They teach us that the troubles of death should not grieve us, for in the very moment of dying they make a virtue of necessity and despise their sad fate in singing. To the medieval mind a liberty was a right to the enjoyment of a specific property. It was a freedom to do something with one's own without interference by the king or any other man. To the medieval mind, the possibility of doubt did not exist. Traveling, gentlemen, is medieval. Today we have means of communication, not to speak of tomorrow and the day after, means of communication that bring the world into our homes. To travel from one place to another is atavistic. We can appreciate but not really understand the medieval town. We cannot comprehend its compactness, the contiguity of all its buildings as a single uninterrupted whole. We can hardly imagine a state of mind in which all material objects were regarded as symbols of spiritual truths or episodes in sacred history. Yet, unless we make this effort of imagination, medieval art is largely incomprehensible. We cannot wholly rely, as though it were medieval times, on the notion that the only reality is what we see in front of us. There are germs. There are changes that are happening in our planet's ecology that are happening over such a long period of time that we cannot see the changes. We exist in a bizarre combination of Stone Age emotions, medieval beliefs, and godlike technology. We have fought long and hard to escape from medieval superstition. I, for one, do not wish to go back. What is better than wisdom? Woman. And what is better than a good woman? Nothing. When I investigate and when I discover that the forces of the heavens and the planets are within ourselves, then truly I seem to be living among the gods. When the words come, they are merely empty shells without the music. They live as they are sung, for the words are the body and the music the spirit. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.